Hello, welcome friends. I'm so glad that you're here with me this morning. I am excited to work on this project with you. If uh, if you're here with me, do say hello there in the chat. That way I can make sure that I am in the right place. I'm just going to click here and yes, there we go. Well, thank you so much again for being with me. I love the first two releases for 2023. The brand new Slimline decorative dies launched yesterday. I hope y'all caught Emma Lou's video where she showed just the amazing versatility of this collection of dies. So let's go ahead and switch our camera view and take a look at what we're going to make today. All right, there we go. Okay, got it. Okay, so here is our card that we're going to make today. And at first glance, it's a nice slimline card, but it's got a little trick to it. It is a Z-fold slimline card with a nice little pocket here where you can put a gift card, or here I didn't have a gift card, so I just slipped some money in there so you can see if you want to give a gift of cash or a gift card. It's got a nice little pocket here to do that. And then we have our greeting over here. And a great way, a beautiful way to give a gift card as a gift. So let's go ahead and get started. To begin, let's take a look at the brand new collection of the decorative slimline dies. So the die that we're going to be using the most today is this one right here. This is a fantastic die with just the possibilities are just endless. I hope that you did. If you didn't catch Emma Lou's live yesterday, go back and check it out because she just shows so many different ways of snipping on these and showing you just so many different ways you can use them as borders, as frames, just as card bases. It's just, my mind is racing with all the possibilities. So this is the Slim Ornate Rectangle, and then we have the Slim Eyelet Heart Rectangle. What a beautiful romantic die. It is so pretty. This one's just going to be so useful in so many ways. And then I always love having the little eyelet frames with the centers. I am able to use these on lots of different cards. And having it now in the rectangle shape, you know, we have the circles, we have the ovals, and now we have some rectangle eyelets, so that's fantastic. And I do believe that this Slimline Gateway rectangle die might be the most versatile die that I have seen. There are so many ways to use this one. Not only do you have your frame background and it kind of has that castle look, this would be a great one to make kind of a princess look out of it because it just reminds me of a castle entrance with this beautiful top. But you have this section, which we're going to be using today. Then you have this little section that can be opened as a window or can be cut apart to make two different little sections. And then you have this very top here with this great place for your sentiment. Just so many ideas with this one. And then to finish it up, we have our Slimline Elegant Rectangle. And isn't this one just named appropriately? Because it's such a beautiful, elegant die. And it also gives us the graduated little rectangular label shape is what I like to call this. But so much uses for this one. So I look forward in the coming months to really exploring what all we can do with this great collection of dies. So to get started, let's pull out our Slim Ornate Rectangle die. And on this one, we're going to be using this one right here. We're gonna really put this one through its paces this morning because we're gonna die cut this 6 times. So for our papers today, oh, thank you so much for popping in there and saying hello. Hello, Lorna and Penny, Gail, just great to see you. Thank you so much there for saying hello there in the chat. That makes me know I'm in the right place. So back to this one, we are going to die cut this 6 times. You're going to die cut it twice out of white, and that's going to give you 2 of this one right here. So we're not using the outline die, and we're not going to be using that middle piece that cuts out. We're just going to be using this frame piece. And then real quick, I'm going to walk you through the papers we're going to use today. using lots of paper pads today. So the first one is from the Friendship Rose collection, and we'll be using this piece right here. Then we're going to be using 2 sheets from the Floral Basket collection. We'll be using this pretty floral one right here, and then this lime green one over here, kind of more green. Now really any of these, you could use any of them that match this paper if you picked. I think I used this one, but you can use any of those. And then last but not least, you'll need just a small piece of pink. I pulled mine from the Sweet Pea collection, but really any of the collections that have a solid pink piece, that would work. So these 2 pieces right here from our Floral Basket collection, you're going to die cut this piece twice from this paper, and you're going to use the frame piece again. So you're going to have 4 of these total, 2 in white and 2 there. And then for this piece, we're going to die cut it 2 more times, but you can let it hang off the side because we're not going to use a frame. We're only going to use this middle section. So it will cut this part out, but to conserve your paper, you don't have to worry about putting the whole thing. Now, if you wanted to use that frame for another project, you might want to cut it out on the whole thing, and then you can save that extra frame and do something else. But for this, we are just going to be using the 2 inner pieces, okay? All right, now once we get those all die cut, and luckily this die cuts beautifully. It really doesn't take that long because the pieces just pop right out of there and it's no problem. Now you often see us layer up the Luxe Gold and the Luxe Silver with a white piece, but I decided to do something a little different and go ahead and layer it up with this pretty green piece to give us some dimension and shadow to our frame. So I'm going to go ahead and do that with this next piece. I'm just going to run a little glue around the edges here, and I just opened a brand new glue bottle and it is coming out incredibly fast. So I'm going to endeavor not to make a mess today as I do this, but we're just going to go ahead and offset those a little bit, just like you've seen us do so many times with the Luxe paper. There we go. Whoops, almost got mine. There we go. All right, so we just glue that down, and now we have our 2 frames ready to go, and we have our 2 inside pieces ready to go. So we can go ahead and set these 2 aside. And the next one, we're going to go ahead and pull out our decorative heart die. And this one, we're going to be using these 2 pieces right here. So for that, you're going to use your large piece, and we'll cut 2 out in white, but 1 with the inner piece and 1 without the inner piece. So that's going to give you, whoops, this one and this one. Okay, and then you're also going to cut 1 more of this out of your solid pink piece, and that will give us these 3 hearts right here. All right. So we can set those aside with our other pieces, and we'll go ahead and do our card base. Oh, nope, not yet, not yet. Almost forgot. Okay, sorry, set that back behind me. We're going to take our Slim Gateway rectangle, this beautiful die right here, and you're going to cut 1 of those out of white. So I know this card has a lot of die cutting, so that's why we're just going to do that first. But since our collection today is dies, I thought that that was appropriate to just really utilize these dies and see what fun we can have with them. So for this piece right here, we're going to use this section right down here. So go ahead and take your scissors, and you're just going to trim that right like that. So this is the only piece we're using. So this section we can go ahead and set aside and use that for another project. And this piece we'll lay over here with our other die cuts. Okay, now for our card base today, we need 2 white sections. You need 1 cut at 4 by 9. And then you need one cut at 4 by 9.5. Then you're going to get your scoreboard, and we're just going to quickly create a Z-fold card. So the one that is 9.5 long, you're going to go ahead and score that at the 1/2 inch mark. Then the piece that is 9 inches long, you're going to score that. You know what? I should have measured where I scored. We're going to score it in half, but we want to make sure I get it right because I don't want to tell you the wrong amount. Okay, so at the 4.5 mark, you're going to go ahead and score that. Four. Okay. All right, so those are our only 2 score marks. We can go ahead and fold this and burnish it. How's everyone doing today? Says everybody had a good start to 2023. It has been really cold here in Texas the last few days. So we're going to go ahead and burnish this piece right here. And now we're going to add some glue to our little flap that we made. And then very carefully, you're going to glue this one right on there, making sure not to get on the score line, but at the same time, you want to get it as straight as possible. Okay, and now this piece, we're just going to fold it in just like that. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and burnish that, and voila, we have our Z-fold base for our card. Okay, we can go ahead and set this one aside with our other pieces. And our last piece of paper, the one that we took from our Friendship Rose collection, this pretty like pink polka dot piece, we're going to trim some out of this. And we are going to have one that is cut to 4 by 9. And then 2 pieces that are 4.5 by 4. Okay, so it's 4.5 by 4. So these are going to be our base pieces for our card. All right, and we're going to just go ahead and quickly glue those down, and then we're going to start making some flowers. So tell me in the chat, have you purchased the garden lilies? I tell you, if you watch the Facebook page, it's obvious that the garden lilies have become a favorite of a lot of people. So many of the samples that are being used are using the garden lilies. They are so fun to make, so fun to color. And I'm excited to share a technique with you today of a different way to color your garden lilies. So we're going to be getting to that in just a moment. Let's go ahead and just glue down our base pieces here. And again, you just want to make sure that you don't lay it right on the fold because you want that to fold nicely. Okay, we'll do that a couple more times here with these pieces. There we go. So has anyone, whoops, my glue is coming out so fast it slid right off. Okay, has anyone made a Z-fold slimline before? This was kind of a new idea for me. I saw that someone had made one of these. I thought, oh, that's a good idea. I'm going to give that a shot. All right, and then we're going to add this piece right in there. All right, so once we get those down, and like I said, try to leave your pieces there, or your fold lines, so that they'll fold nice. So once we get this done, we can set this aside with our other die cuts, and we're going to make some garden lilies. All right, Brenda says she's already received it and can't wait to get started. I have been having so much fun with the garden lilies. They're really a great addition to our floral collection here. So I'm going to quickly run through the garden lily sets because we're going to use a lot of them today. So we've got our petal pieces that make the flower with the leaf. Then we have two sets that have some different sprays and things to it. So on this one, we've got this beautiful piece of greenery here and the bud and a smaller spray. We're going to be using these two on this project. And then on this one, you've got a much larger spray and another small bud. And we're going to be using this one today. All right, here we go. So to stamp out our petals and our leaves, you're going to need two of the larger. And when you stamp this twice, you'll be able to make two flowers, a large one and a little, what I call the medium. This one over here makes the smaller one. So with just stamping this out, you're going to be able to make a large flower and a small flower. And you're going to stamp that out in the pink peony. Then this one, we only need one flower. If you want to make multiple flowers, you're going to stamp it out twice, and that'll give you three. But for ours today, we only need one, so you're going to end up with an extra set of petals. But I stamped that out in the goldenrod. And then for our leaf, I stamped that in the emerald green, and I stamped this one 3 times. You're going to need 3 of those for our project today. All right, so let's get to coloring. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this vibrant fuchsia, and we're going to take one of our triangle daubers. Oh, someone's saying it seems out of focus. Oh, and Brenda says yes, she's made the Z-fold card before. Let me see. Is it still out of focus? Did this help? Okay. It might be that it's shaking a little bit. Yeah, give me a chat there and let me know if it still seems any out of focus, because I tried to fix that there. Okay, from what I'm seeing, it looks good, so hopefully you're okay. We might be having an issue with autofocus, because as I move my hands in and out, I see that it's trying to refocus. Okay, so go ahead and take your triangle dauber. Oh, good. Someone says there's okay. Well, I will try not to move too fast through the frame, and maybe that will take care of the autofocus. All right, well, we'll take our triangle dauber, and you're going to run just the point through the vibrant fuchsia. And I like to hold mine at an angle, but you're going to set your point down right in the center and drag outward, just like that. And you're going to do that to all of the petals. And I find it easiest to always go in the same direction, so I turn my paper as I do it. That just, when I try to go the other way, I end up with a great big blob. So, there we go. All right, so once you have them look like this, they kind of are starting to look like propellers instead of flowers. But we want this nice strip of the hot or the vibrant fuchsia coming out of the middle. Now we're going to come back with our pink peony and get plenty of ink there on your whole dauber, and then we're just going to give that a swipe of color in the center. So it's hard to see on the camera, but hopefully, you know, in person you can see that pretty pink peony giving you some darker color up those petals. And of course, it's a pale color to begin with, so but it makes a very pretty flower. So to finish these off, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to get a piece of cardboard here to protect my surface and lay these down. And I am going to come in with 2 of my Zig watercolors, and I have what is the number 25, which is the pink, and I'm going to scribble that on my block. And then I'm also going to come in with the purple, and I'm going to put just a little bit of that in there. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And this is a splatter brush. If you don't have a splatter brush, you can certainly just use a paintbrush. But we're going to stir that up and get that water on our brush. And then we're just going to splatter that right onto our flowers. And I try to concentrate it towards the center, but it's going to get the whole petals. All right. And that is how I colored my my garden lilies. For some reason, my brain is having trouble remembering all the names of things today, so you'll have to bear with me. All right, so I like to go ahead and clean my block off real quick so it doesn't get stained. I use that block for all kinds of things. But now that we have this done, we'll set that aside to dry, and we'll go ahead and color up our yellows. Now for the yellow ones, I just came back with the goldenrod color and just colored those yellow. Very, very simple. So they have the whole things are just the goldenrod yellow. Now for my leaves, I came back with the emerald green and colored the dark color right through the middle. And I did the same technique for all of the leaves. And then I came back with the vivid chartreuse to just finish off those leaves and blend those out. All right, so very quick and easy coloring for these flowers. But I love our splattered look on the garden lilies. It just gave them a really kind of different look. All right, so we can go ahead and die cut all of these. And the garden lily collection also comes with our mold, so we're going to run our flowers through the mold and our leaves. And I put everything in here face down and ran that through our die machine with a plate on the top, plate on the bottom. Oh, you like the splatter technique. Whenever I get a new flower, I like to Google like what the real flower looks like, and I kind of scroll through them, and there seemed to be a lot of them that had those darker like dots that come out from the center. So that's how I kind of came up with the splatter technique, was just what I knew to do to try to get it to look like the original. So I'm going to come in with so I'm glad you like that idea, Brenda. I do think that if I could, I would make my splatters even darker. That's why I added the purple in there. I was trying to get them darker. In my original, I thought they were a little pale. So, okay, I'm going to come in with my deluxe flower shaping kit. And I'm just going to add a little bit more dimension there by pressing in the center to get those petals to pop up. Then I like to take my stylus and just add some curl to those petals to get some of them to bend back. And I don't necessarily do it to all of them, although sometimes I do. But I like to just get those to kind of shape up like that. And then for my leaves, we're going to cut these apart largely, so I don't think that's going to matter. We can just let those be. All right, so I think we're ready to add our stamens. So the garden lilies came with the petite pollen stamens, and this is you get plenty of them in there, lots of different colors, and they're very similar to the ones for the calla lilies, but they're smaller. So this is a good addition to our stamen collection. And today I'm going to be using for the pink flowers, I'm going to use these sparkly yellows, and then for my yellow flower, I use the sparkly brown ones that are in there. Go ahead and fire up my glue gun. And for each of my garden lilies, I used maybe 5. So I'm going to go at 5 stamens there. So I'm going to go ahead and poke my hole. Thank you, Jenny. That's very sweet. She likes the way this is looking. Thank you so much. So I pop my holes there in the center. And I did this, of course, to all the flowers that we're using. We have 3. I'm just going to make 1 here, but I tap them there. Go ahead and feed those through. Now, in the garden lily, the area right here is very small, so often when I poke my hole, it tears through, and that's okay. You still just glue it right on there. So I'm going to add some hot glue in there, and then just pull it tight. Pull it tight, and I like to leave my stamens standing up a little bit so they're at the kind of at the top of the petals rather than pulled down real tight. Make sure those are offset well, and there we go. We have our flower. This is our big one, and you're gonna make a medium one just the same, and then our yellow one is going to be this small one, and then we should have 3 leaves. I only have 2 here, but you should have 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and gather all of our pieces that we die cut and our Z-fold card, and we'll set these aside, and it's time to construct our card. All right, so to begin, our 2 frames that we made, one of them we're going to glue right here on the inside. Oops, sorry, I have a piece that didn't come off there. There we go. We're going to glue one on the inside, and then the other we're going to cut in half, and we'll put one on the 2 sides here. I've laid my scissors somewhere. I don't see them. I have to use the big ones. And I'm just going to cut this exactly in half, which from the design of it, we can easily tell where the half mark is. There we go. All right, so we're just going to glue those in. So tell me in the chat, do you like the idea of a Z-fold gift card holder with the Slimlines? Do you think this would be a design that you would enjoy making a gift with? As my kids have gotten older, at Christmas we've been doing more gift cards than we used to. And I thought this would be a fun idea for Christmas and birthdays and things like that. Okay, glue that down. Once you get your frames glued on, we'll go ahead and glue in the center pieces right in there like that. Do you have your decorative dies? Yes, it is. I find it just a nice idea. Gift cards just come in. They're just a great gift idea, especially for certain people on our lists, right, that are really hard to buy for. So either birthday or Christmas. So we're going to go ahead and glue those in. There we go. And this one. I had one other thing I wanted to show you, and I'll do that real quick before I forget. Sometimes I have ideas to share, and then the live goes so fast, and then I realize, oh, I forgot to say this. I forgot to tell them about this. So before I go any further, I wanted to show you. So this beautiful die right here, I noticed this decorative piece right here, it matches our Slim Star lattice rectangle. So I am looking forward to finding a way to kind of combine and use these pieces maybe over here as little flaps or windows. But I thought that was a really neat. I love this look. I think it's so pretty. So I was glad to see it show up again in our gateway die here. All right, so let's go ahead and glue our centers into our frames. And this one we'll have to cut in half here. So I'm going to just do that. Now this is largely going to be covered up with our heart, so I'm not going to be real picky about if it's perfectly straight or perfectly measured, because that's going to be completely covered up. Okay. Put that one in. And this one. So speaking of our heart, we're going to go ahead and put that together next. There we go. So let's go ahead and push this one back. Now for this part right here, we're going to layer these two together. And then we're going to layer this one on top. Nothing is popped up on this card. It's all, the only things that stand up would be your flowers at the end. My glue is coming out so fast. It's just like, it feels like it's complete like water. So, okay, now we're going to want to fold this. And you're only going to want to put glue on half of your heart, because we're going to glue it just like this. Okay, so you only want to put glue on this one half. And then we're going to put that right here. And that is going to give us our base for our flowers. Okay, and some of you might have noticed this right from the beginning. This part right here, I was supposed to leave off and I totally forgot. So we're going to take our little piece that we cut out like this, and we should have a piece of green. Here it is. Okay, so out of your green paper, we need to cut a small piece, and this was from our floral basket, and we're going to cut a piece that is 2 3/4 by 4. And the little piece that we trimmed off, we're going to go ahead and attach that right on the front. There we go. Okay, now when we attach this to our card, you only want to put glue on 3 sides. You're going to leave one top, you're going to leave the top part with no glue, because that's going to create our pocket to put our gift card in. All right. And for that, it's going to go right here. Now, on my original, I did not put the frame right here. I left this blank, and I totally forgot as I was putting this together. But just go ahead and glue that down right there, and it will still give us our nice pocket, even with the decorative background. That'll be no problem. All right, now before we add our flowers, we're going to go back to one of the new die sets, and in the Slimline heart rectangle, we're going to use the It's Your Birthday. And you're going to die cut this 3 times. And the reason I cut it 3 times is so that it would show up better on this paper. Because when I only did it out of white, it was hard to see. So I did it out of white, and then I chose 2 different colors of solid pink. And I mean, they don't even really match, but I used the dark one as the base, and then I kind of graduated up. Then I did a lighter pink, and then I did the white. And that's just to create a bit of a shadow in there so that it's easier to see on this patterned paper. And we're going to go ahead and glue that inside our card here. And I positioned it so that it would be covered up with our Z-fold flap. There we go. Now over here, you could easily write a sentiment, or you can sign it down here so that it's covered up. Either way, but I thought the card was overall more aesthetically pleasing if this part was underneath the flap. So. Oh, Jackie, sorry you have to leave us. Hopefully you can watch the ending there later on, but a good day. Okay. All right, there we go. So there's our inside. Now I cut a small flap, and let me grab those two. There they are. I came back with two of our sentiment sets, and on one of them I used Let's Celebrate, and on one I used the Just For You. And the Just For You, I came in with our ticket and tag set, and this little ticket right here, I stamped the Just For You. And this is going to be the sentiment on the front of our card. And then the Let's Celebrate, I just cut out a rectangle and I put that right underneath the It's Your Birthday. Hello from Galveston, Texas. Is it cold down in Galveston? Because here in College Station, it is pretty cold. We're kind of tired of the cold. We're ready for it to warm up a little bit. All right, there we go. All right, so now the inside of our card is ready to go. So it is time to add our beautiful flowers. Can you believe that January is almost over? Isn't 2023 just flying by? I can't believe it's already late in January. So I'm going to start. I had to add a little more glue because when I cut my pieces off, my stamens wanted to fall out. So I added just a little more glue. But we're going to start by adding our leaves. And you have three. I only have two here for some reason. I don't know what happened to my other one. So I'm just going to, the way I did it originally, I had two of them where I just kind of positioned like this. And then the third one, I cut leaves apart and just tucked them in. But you can still do that. But since I can't find mine, I'm going to go ahead and just keep going without it. Okay, so we'll start adding our flowers here. And I put all of the flowers right on this heart piece. It is cool in Galveston, yeah. It's, all right. We're just going to kind of arrange our lilies here. Okay. And then I added the yellow one just to kind of pick up the colors in this paper. I thought it was pretty to have a variety on there. You could easily do this with all the same color. I just thought it looked pretty. So, and like I said, my third leaf, I cut it apart and just tucked in pieces of leaf where I thought that would look good. And then for my sentiment, I just added a little bit of hot glue right on the end there, and I just tucked it right in here so that you could read it coming out from the side like that. So it says, Just For You. It's your birthday, let's celebrate. And then in our little gift card holder here or money holder, you can slide your gift right inside just like that. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the splatter idea, and maybe to make some Z-fold cards out of your Slimlines. I have made Z-folds out of 5x7s often, but I had never made one out of a Slimline before, so I thought that was a fun idea. Okay, to finish this card off, I just came back with my crystal lacquer and my paintbrush, and somebody had asked me if I used a new paintbrush every time, and no, I don't. I use really cheap paintbrushes that I pick up at the dollar store, and I keep my little water cup. This is a no spill water cup that I picked up. I keep this on my desk all the time, so I just, after I use it, I pop it right in the water, because if you left it laying with the crystal lacquer on your paintbrush, you'd have to throw it away. It would get rock hard. You wouldn't be able to use it. So I just keep mine in the water, and then I have a little tissue where I just dry it off and then just go ahead and add my crystal lacquer. So that's kind of how I use crystal lacquer, but there are certainly other ways. So I like to do my glitter. I like to do it with the crystal lacquer, and I just paint it on down in there. I feel I have more control with a paintbrush, so just paint all those pretty petals. And then I use my fingers there, whoops, to sprinkle my flowers. And the finishing touch is always the sparkle, right? Okay. Oh, thank you, Mary, so much, and Penny. I'm glad that you like this idea. I thought this one was really fun, and I enjoyed uh, doing something a little different that I hadn't thought of before. That's always fun. So um, there is your happy birthday Z Fold Slimline card. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera back. All right. If you have not already ordered your Slimline decorative dies that launched yesterday, you can still save 10%. They're all bundled together so that you can save that 10%, and that is good through Saturday. And after Saturday, those of course will all still be available individually, but if you're liking all of these, you're definitely going to want to pick up that bundle. So thank you so much for crafting with me today. I've really enjoyed catching up with everybody. It had been a while. So have a wonderful afternoon, and I look forward to crafting with you again soon. Thank you so much. Bye bye.